Equidox, PDF Accessibility Solutions.
Adding image alt text for PDF accessibility. Alternative text, or alt text, describes images for users who cannot see them. It's crucial for conveying visual information to screen reader users. The assistive technology reads alt text aloud, allowing users to understand the content and the purpose of the images. If there is no alt text, they miss important information or just hear image. Adding alt text falls under the perceivable and understandable aspects of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG.
In addition, the other guidelines include operable and robust.
Many images can be described in just a few words. On this document, we see a logo and 2 additional images. Alt text for this logo can simply read Equidox logo, or the logo could be fully described to read Equidox logo with tagline PDF Accessibility Solutions. The O in the logo features an illustration of a document with a check mark. In most cases, Equidox logo is sufficient information. The next image is a decorative cityscape icon that contributes no additional information for this document. This image can be artifacted so that assistive technology ignores it. The next image can be described as black and white border collie with Equidox logo. This image also doesn't add anything new to the document and could be arguably artifacted as well. Repetitive content, such as appears in headers or footers on every page, does not need to be tagged more than once. It's an unnecessary burden for an assistive technology user to hear the same information over and over that would normally be skipped or ignored by a sighted user. These repetitive images can be artifacted. It's important to provide alt text that matches the context of the content each image is amplifying. For example, this image of George Washington crossing the Delaware might be part of an article about engravings in the 19th century, part of an article about the Revolutionary War history, or included in a document about George Washington himself. In the first, you might mention the artistic techniques. In the second, you might include the date this occurred and its significance to the war. And in the last, you might just say, engraving of George Washington crossing the Delaware by Emanuel Lutz. For charts and graphs, often the best practice is to include the data table from which the image has been derived. Tables can be read by assistive technology, and you can simply write in the alt text, refer to data table on this page for details. Alternatively, some graphs can be explained very simply. Alt text for this one can just read line graph showing an upward trend in cell phone services from 2001 through 2010 with a corresponding downward trend in residential phone services over the same period. Maps can be another challenge to describe using alt text. Often the alt text provided reads simply map of. This is not especially useful technology user who might want to know how to get from point A to point B or the location of a specific destination. However, if the information conveyed by the map, directions or specifically cited locations like mailboxes or coffee shops is thoroughly covered in the text of the document, the alt text map of mailbox locations might be perfectly appropriate. Remember, the context of the map needs to be considered. It's not always necessary to describe the entire map. The map below could take hundreds of words to describe in the alt text. However, the best way to provide the intended information for this particular map is to give clear directions to each point listed on the map. So you might write, map of the course of a marathon. Start at the intersection of XYZ and ABC. Make the second left onto CDF Street. Turn right at the 5th intersection, and so on, describing the path of the marathon. This is the information intended by the map. Organizational charts are another tricky element to describe using alt text. The more complex the org chart, the more words are required to accurately present the information. It can become very cumbersome to navigate alt text describing an organizational chart if there are large numbers of elements. Equidox software provides a unique solution because it can create zones that will be digital tags on export. Many organizational charts can be depicted using a nested list.
A nested list appears next to an org chart, which shows board at the top with General Manager nested beneath it, then Unit Managers nested beneath that, And finally, individual employee roles beneath that.
Simply create a list zone and use custom text to enter the elements of the org chart, and voila, easy to parse information for an assistive technology user. The alt text for the org chart will then refer to the added nested list zone for the necessary information. The nested list should immediately follow the org chart image in the reading order. When writing alt text, always consider the context of the image and why it's important to the specific document in which it's located. It sometimes requires a fair bit of creativity to convey the information in the most usable way. Consider how difficult it will be for an assistive technology user to read through complex alt text and keep it simple by conveying only necessary, relevant information. Setting alt text with Equidocs can be done on individual pages
Page view in Equidocs shows alt text entered under the graphic properties of an image.
or on the Images tab, which allows alt text for images in the document to be added all in one place. To view more PDF accessibility videos, subscribe to our channel. For more information on how Equidocs can make PDF accessibility easy, visit our website at www.equidocs.co.
Equidocs, PDF Accessibility Solutions.